Hey friends, welcome back to Queer Gravel. Now for anyone who's ever purchased a bike, you know that buying a bike is not the end of your bike-related purchases. Actually, it's just the beginning. Today, I want to talk about the one bike accessory that I never leave home without, that unlocks a ton of potential for any kind of bike and doesn't break the bank. So what is this magical bike accessory that does all these things while being kind to your pocketbook? The humble bungee cord. In today's video, I want to share with you all about the bungee cord family, what they can do for you, a bunch of different things you can use them for, and why I never leave home without one. So I use the term bungee cord family. What does that even mean? Well, for me, it's anything that's one, stretchy, has some elasticity to it, and two, you can use it to secure things to your bike. Now, obviously that's a pretty broad category, but I like having a broad category because it gives me lots of different things to talk about. But let me break down the categories that we'll be talking about today. First is your standard bungee cord. You all know the ones. Very simple, usually some sort of black rubber with hooks on the end. No biggie. Then we have things like adjustable bungee cords, a nice variation on the original. We've got things like bungee nets, and then we have Voilé or ski straps. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I will share with you the secret member of the bungee cord family that no one in their right mind leaves home without. Now, your standard bungee cord usually looks something like this. Thick black rubber, metal hooks on the end. You hook one side to one thing, one to the other. It stretches some. Not a lot of give, but usually enough to keep something pretty secure. This is a great option if you have something like a cargo bike to just strap things to. I use some standard bungees more like these to keep the large bins on the back of my cargo bikes from rattling around too much. Now, standard bungee cords are great because they're super easy to get a hold of. You can get them at basically any hardware store, and you likely have some hanging out in your garage already. A fun variation on the standard bungee cord is the adjustable bungee cord. These may be my favorite bike accessory of all time. I keep probably 3 or 4 of these on my cargo bikes at all times. There are 2 main reasons why I love these things so much and tend to prefer them over your standard bungee cord. First of all, they're adjustable. Being able to tailor the size of the bungee cord makes it really easy to secure all sorts of different kinds of loads, either on my bike trailer or on the backs of my cargo bikes. The other bonus to this style of bungee cord is that because the adjustable bungee cords have at least some part that's kind of doubled over, they end up being stronger than your traditional bungee cord. I really like this brand of Smart straps. I got them from Lowe's. While they're a little bit more expensive than your standard bungee cord, they're still very affordable. You get 5 in a pack like this, 3 of the smaller green ones and 2 larger orange ones. I really don't think you can go wrong with these. Next, we have bungee nets. These cargo nets are super cheap and incredibly functional. If you have any sort of front or rear rack on your bike, having one of these things either stuffed in a bag or stretched over your bike adds so much functionality. I picked this one up from REI for I think $7 or $8. This is Topeak's brand, but they're all basically the same idea. What I love about this is if I'm using it on a front rack or a front basket, it immediately increases the capacity of that rack or basket. Things that I put in it can be much taller than the sides. This will keep it nice and snug on either the basket or the front rack. Another bonus to something like this on a front basket instead of using a bag is if I have another advantage to using a bungee net in a front basket versus a basket bag, it can make it much easier to quickly grab things in and out of the basket without having to undo or unroll or open a basket bag. Next, we have Voilé straps. These are kind of like the fancy cousin of bungee cords. They have some great advantages, and they have a few drawbacks as well, depending on your use case. I like using Voilé straps for things that are often a little bit heavier or maybe a little bit more awkward that I really don't want to move around. Voilé straps don't have as much give as a normal bungee cord. That can be a problem if you're trying to strap down something onto a trailer or a large something in a bin or on the back or front of a cargo bike. but it can be really handy if you're trying to attach something with a little bit more precision and you really want to make sure it doesn't move around. I used a couple Voilé straps to secure some of the fence pickets to my bike when I brought home all the fence supplies from Lowe's. These were great to strap the pickets to my rear rack in a way that I knew they weren't going to jostle around. I also used this Voilé strap in particular to strap my U-lock onto the rear rack of my commuter bike. I used the Kryptonite New York Forget About It, and it's a pretty hefty lock, so I use this Voilé strap to securely fasten it to the rear rack of my bike. That way I know it's not going anywhere, but it's still pretty easy to access once I get where I'm going. I hope it's somewhat obvious why I would carry multiple bungee cords and other members of the bungee cord family with me on all of my rides. I absolutely love playing the Ride Finds game, and having a few extra bungee cords means I know that I can always get home the cool things that I find. Like the time I found an entire bike on the side of the road and decided to bring it home. But bungee cords and the other bungee family members aren't just for cargo bikes. They unlock so much cool functionality on any commuter bike, and having some small bungees or even a small bungee net is a great thing to throw in your pack on a bike packing trip or any other sort of long haul tour. You never know when something's going to go wrong, and having something like this means it's much more likely you're going to be able to pull off that MacGyver move and get yourself back home. Now, I told you if you stayed till the end of the video, I would share with you the ultimate member of the bungee cord family that pretty much no cyclist I know leaves the house without, and that is the spare tube. Now, this has been a staple of messenger communities for as long as there have been messenger communities. If you check out the hashtag #CarryShitOlympics, you'll see bicycle tubes being used in all sorts of crazy ways to help people carry all sorts of cool things on their bikes. Now, the obvious con is that this is not exactly a precision tool or accessory for attaching things to your bike, but the pros tend to far outweigh that. You almost always have one of these on you. If it's an older tube that's already been blown out and you can't patch any longer, it adds life and value to something that might otherwise get thrown in the trash. And let's face it, it just looks really cool. There you have it, friends. That is my #1 bike accessory that I never leave home without. What do you never leave home without? Let me know down in the comments below. And tell me what kind of crazy stuff you've bungeed to your bike. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And until next time, I'm gonna have it soon. Until next time, ride on. Maybe ride with pride is better. Don't worry, we're gonna get there. I believe in us.